All right, guys, welcome back to Wide Awake News Radio. Charlie McGrath on the 7th day of May, Tuesday. Joining us here now, we're going to continue this conversation that we started in the last hour, but we're going to bring on someone who really doesn't need an introduction, Sheriff Mack, who's been on the program before. Sheriff Mack, welcome back to Wide Awake News Radio. It's a real pleasure, honor to have you on here, and I look forward to getting your take on the attempt for sanity to take over at least parts of this nation with constitutional sheriffs, with a move towards freedom and sovereignty, but at the same time, we're seeing a equally devastating effort by the power elite, the power who want to maintain power, the folks who want to maintain power, to go ahead and quell any dissent on who is really in charge. So in the last hour, Sheriff Mack, I talked a little bit about Holder and his finding that Kansas does not have the right to not enforce federal law. Over the last couple of months, in fact, when Newton happened in Connecticut, and I listened to the president come out and talk about we're not doing enough to take care of our kids, blah blah blah. This. And I immediately put out a video saying, I don't know what event is going to lead to a civil breakdown in this country. I don't know if it's going to be economic. I don't know if it's going to be political. I don't know if it's going to be social unrest because of immigration. I don't know, but I do know this: it is coming, and it most certainly could be.
It most likely will be economic. And thanks for having me on again.
You bet.
I appreciate being on your show.
Great to have you.
This is a great avenue. Your show is a great avenue, and the other conservative talk radio shows are getting the message out. And it's been very instrumental in helping us at the Constitutional Sheriffs and Peace Officers Association. And, I would like to ask Eric Holder then, is it okay if I try some sort of scheme to run guns down to Mexico and call it Fast and Furious? Is it okay? Is it okay to break that law? Is it okay to not enforce immigration laws and then pay these people that are here illegally and then pay them with taxpayer dollars to stay here and to have free housing and free education and free medical care? Is that okay too? The way this government and this regime pick and choose which laws they're going to support and picking the winners and losers, it's pretty embarrassing. I mean, these guys have no shame whatsoever. Really, it really is such a total joke that these people are obviously incapable of being embarrassed, incapable of being shamed, and entirely incapable of following the Constitution. After a while, you have to ask yourself, are these people that stupid, or is this their plan? Because I really don't think that Eric Holder is a stupid person. He didn't get where he got and got through law school and get to the position he is right now. And Barack Obama is not stupid. He didn't get to where he is now by being stupid, even though he's got lots of... he might be a puppet of somebody, but he's a smart puppet. And so is Eric Holder. And the way these guys spin propaganda would make Hitler embarrassed, because we thought Hitler was a good spinmeister and propagandist. These guys make Hitler look like kindergarten. But the thing of it is that you have to have that history has taught us plainly. If you're going to have these types of schemes and literally get away with murder, as this regime has, then you have to have complicity from the media. And that's exactly what they have had. Let's just look at Fast and Furious alone. Let's talk nothing about a lawful and very sophisticated investigation on the Barack Obama birth certificate that a good friend of mine, Sheriff Arpaio, has investigated and determined to be a fraud. Let's just look at the corruption and the crime of the Fast and Furious project. And again, of course, they try to blame it on Bush. Well, Bush did it too, so it's okay if we did it. And then to get out from underneath it, what did the president do? He declares executive privilege.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, well, then it's all over then. We can't do anything else. He's declared executive privilege. Executive privilege has nothing to do with criminal activity. You don't get to say, well, excuse my administration, excuse my attorney general, and I'm declaring executive privilege, so you can't touch us anymore, and you can't ask us any more about it. That just shows how stupid Congress is, and that they suspend a criminal inquiry because the suspect says, well, I'm taking executive privilege. Right. I'm sorry, that doesn't cover crime.
Well, and let's face it. I mean, the Constitution, and I held it up in the last hour because it's real easy to do. Even on my little webcam here, it's a very, very small document, and it's very simple.
Wait. You said you're holding up the Constitution?
Yeah, it's pretty simple. It's pretty simple.
You're probably one of the 10 people in the entire country that are doing that.
Well, yeah, no kidding. But here's the thing. Here's what I'm getting at: is everything is so convoluted. It is so corrupt on every level of government. And I agree with you about Eric Holder, the president, their continued destruction and dismantling of freedom and and the Constitution of this nation. And most definitely, it didn't start there. And we can lay the blame equally at the feet of these would-be neocons and these would-be Democrats, these would-be liberals. The fact is, the nation as a whole is being led and steered into this trough of tyranny, and they're just using different methods in order to sell it, depending on what team's up to bat in the White House. But the truth is, we are a nation that just, Sheriff Mack, to me, it feels like we're about to bust, and it feels like every day I look for the so-called Bubba effect. Is it going to be a Sheriff Mack or Sheriff Arpaio that is arrested by the federal agents? And is that going to be the Bubba effect, where we have 50,000 people showing up to where you're at to force an issue? Everything that you have said, I think, is 100% correct with what's going on with Fast and Furious. But the corruption and the malfeasance goes so much deeper than that, and is so much broader that Do we turn the corner, and we're going to have 40 minutes to talk about this, do we turn the corner by just a simple a realization that we need to return to a constitutional republic, or is there going to be a breakdown crisis that is inevitable?
Well, I'm not sure of all that. My personal opinion is there's going to be an economic catastrophe that's going to trigger the downfall of the government and break the peaceful revolution that we're already in. And our goal at CSPOA is to restore the Constitution peacefully. That's my goal as a person. It's my goal as an American. It's my goal as a grandfather. Yeah. It's my goal as a father and a husband. I absolutely am petrified of any kind of violence and civil war breaking out in America.
Right.
I don't disagree with you that it's probably inevitable that such will happen, because Washington, D.C. is going to continue to destroy our Constitution, trample personal liberty and individual liberty under their feet. They will not respect home ownership or property ownership of the citizens. They don't get the part of the Constitution that says, we the people. And there's another thing that a lot of us don't get, that we should be getting, and that is that we say that our representatives should be representing us.
Right. We
say that they're supposed to be doing the will of the people. Well, that's true to an extent. But when we come back to the break, I'll tell everybody what that really is.
All right, good. I'm glad you heard the music. I don't have to interrupt you. We'll be back with Sheriff Mack and more Wide Awake News Radio in just a minute. Please hang tight. All right, guys, welcome back to Wide Awake News Radio. We continue our conversation with Sheriff Mack, and he informed me during the break, and I want to congratulate him on his his new grandbaby, a week old, and then he informed me he's got 10 of them. So congratulations! Thanks for providing this country with some true patriots, and thanks for coming on here.
Even a side story with that is my first grandchild was a little girl, and she was born on the 4th of July, and her name was Liberty.
Perfect.
Yeah,
I love it. We need that story out there more, and we need more stories like that. CSPOA. Let's talk about that. This is a big event coming up.
Let me finish what I was going to say.
Yes, sir.
Right before the break.
Go ahead.
We're talking about that our representatives and people that we vote for are supposed to represent the will of the people.
Yes.
That's only as long as the sheriff maintains his oath and promise to uphold and defend and obey the U.S. Constitution. So if the citizens say our will is for you to disobey your oath or to violate the rights and the privileges and liberties guaranteed to the people of the country, then he has to say no. So he represents the will of the people, yes, within the confines of the U.S. Constitution, and there would be times where he would say, even if 99.99% of the people ask me to promote gun control, I can't. I can't do that. If you want to get somebody else to be sheriff, then go ahead. If you want somebody else to be a U.S. congressman or president or whoever, go ahead, because I'm not going to violate my oath, not for you and not for anybody. And that's what makes us a constitutional republic, because we do have that rule book that we have promised to go by.
Yeah.
So those two things go hand in hand. The will of the people, yes, but as long as it's constitutional.
And it's simple. It's pursuant, not defiant. And
right.
This
correct.
This is the whole crux of General Holder, Attorney General Eric Holder, gun runner that he is, when he's talking about Kansas not having the ability to uphold the Constitution in their state. He's talking about the supremacy clause, and it's twisted. And we don't have to waste any more time explaining that. People listening to this program understand that it's just a matter of them twisting the meaning of the Constitution. But it couldn't be any more clear. Pursuant to the Constitution, not in defiance of the Constitution. And I like how you said you can have 99.999% of the people that want to take your stuff, but you as my sheriff are not going to allow the 99 to run roughshod over the one. That is called the tyranny of the majority, and it is not to be allowed in this nation. And thanks for pointing that out, Sheriff.
Right, and that's really the difference between the democracy and the constitutional republic we were supposed to be. So, and quite honestly, that leads and segues very well into what you were asking me right after the break about the CSPOA.
Yes, sir.
And we are an organization that is dedicated to that very principle. We are the organization, along with Oath Keepers, that focuses directly on our oath of office and our obligation to keep that oath. And so we have had 2 conventions, and we're having another one May 31st. Now, the first 2 were in Las Vegas. They were absolutely fantastic. We call them the miracles in Las Vegas, because they were absolutely miraculous. They were so patriotic. They were so historical, in that we have sheriffs and other local officials who say, yes, I'm going to stand against the federal government. I'm getting a little bit fed up with this, and I'm not going to stand by and watch my citizens be victimized and then say, I can't help you. There's nothing I can do about this. There is something you can do, and you promised that you would, and the whole system is built on checks and balances. And for a sheriff to say, I don't have the authority to tell the federal government to back off, is like saying, I don't have the authority to keep my oath of office. You know, I admit that this is a huge paradigm shift, but it's only a huge paradigm shift because we've allowed this to fester in our country. We have faltered in keeping our oath. We have faltered in recognizing the significance of the oath and the significance of the Constitution. It is the supreme law, and we're not relegating the Constitution to be nothing, and that any public official, and especially federal bureaucrats, can abuse us to any degree they want, and then just say, well, Let's let the courts figure it out.
Right.
Sue me if you don't like it. That's not freedom. That's not our Constitution. Every public official swore to uphold and defend the Constitution. Is there any evidence that we do it? And I'm going to tell you right now, that was the very issue that prompted me to run for sheriff in the first place, and to sue the federal government and sue the Clinton administration and beat their little fannies at the U.S. Supreme Court. This is exactly what we should be doing. And I'm going to tell you right now, we have a sheriff in this country that's ready to go to battle with the IRS to protect his citizens from them.
I want to hear all about that and continue on the upcoming conference, the CSPOA. CSPOA.org. Please go there, bookmark it, get over there, check it out, support these guys. It's important work. We're going to be back with Sheriff Mack in just a few minutes. Please hang tight. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Wide Awake News Radio. Charlie McGrath on this 7th day of May, Tuesday. Sheriff Mack is our guest. We continue our conversation. I kind of went on a little tirade during the break there about how things seem to be out of control in every front, every sector. And I'm talking politically all the way down to financially to whatever, you name it, socially. And it's because we're as a nation of people, we're complicit, right? We do have a media that doesn't do its job. We do have a government that's sold out to special interests and has no respect or other than paying lip service to our Constitution. But Sheriff Mack, without that core principle founding document, without a refocus and a renaissance to a return to that constitutional republic, nothing can be fixed. And this is my firm opinion, but I'd like your take on it. I mean,
no,
we can't do it halfway.
You're giving my speech there.
Oh,
I keep every time and I've been speaking all over the country. In fact, I can't even hardly keep up with my schedule, and that's no joke. I have been all over the country. I've been to Michigan 3 times in the last 7 weeks.
Good for you.
And then
that
I went
people
to
are listening.
Washington State. I've got Idaho coming up. I've got Missouri coming up this weekend, and then we're having our Constitutional Sheriff and Peace Officer Association convention in St. Charles, Missouri, on May 31st. I've got a stop in New York before that, and then another one in Ohio. Anyway, I can't keep them straight. Anyway,
Sheriff Mack, let me interject real quick. Let me ask you this real quick, because you're talking about your schedule and the increase, and it sounds like it's been on the increase. I take that as a good sign. I mean, you've been battling this beast for
a lot of people are waking up, and that's definitely the sign, a good sign.
Okay.
The more I'm speaking, the more people are waking up. No question about it. But primarily what I say there is that the solution is not going to be found in more political strategies, programs, policies, or if we move forward. Forward is actually, I defy anybody to look up where that piece of propaganda came from. Hitler was really good at using the word and term forward. And then who used it as their motto for getting reelected.
Yeah.
So moving forward is going to simply take us towards this fundamental transformation of America. Moving forward is going to erect a civilian army under the control of the president. Another thing that Hitler was very adept at convincing people we needed. Moving forward is taking us further away from the principles that our country was founded upon. The solution is not if we move forward. The solution and the answer to all of this is behind us. It's in our history, it's in our Constitution, it's in the heart of America, and it's in the heart of Americans. And if we return to the Constitution and those basic fundamental principles of equality and freedom, yes, I totally believe in this notion that we were created on the notion that we were founded on the notion that we're all created equal. I love that part. But forced equality and forced charity is a welfare state that the founders warned us against. Everything the founders warned us to avoid, we're now doing with complete impunity and arrogance. And so, again, you're absolutely correct. the solution is behind us, and we better get back to it right away.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more, Sheriff. And, forced charity is not charity. It's slavery.
Never has been charity, never will be charity.
That's right. Yeah, you're not going to, force is force. I don't care if it's a tax form that comes in your mail. I don't care if it's a so-called law enforcement agent putting a gun in your face.
Right.
Government using force is force, period. And I want to talk a little bit about, first of all, I have a question from chat, and I want to get this out because I'll forget if I don't. It was from Florida Vet. They asked, how many sheriffs do you have? 3,000 plus counties we have in the country.
Right.
How many folks are we talking or signed up with your organization that continues to grow?
Well, we haven't really been pushing membership per se as much as we've been pushing involvement. We're more. In fact, I've been this kind of my whole life. I'm not into statistics as much as I am into doing.
Results. Yeah.
Doing. Get out and do something. Go door to door. Go shake hands. Go do something. Quit having meetings and quit doing analysis and quit doing statistics. Get out and do something. So we are doing something. We are teaching and training sheriffs to be constitutional sheriffs. And we're doing that with deputies and peace officers and county commissioners. So state reps, city councilmen. And I want everyone listening to this program to know you have homework after this show. You need to call your sheriffs and your local officials. Get a hold of your favorite deputy, your cousin, your brother, your relative, and get them to our convention. This is such a powerful grassroots event. We have Sheriff David A. Clark Jr. As one of our speakers, and he's also agreed already wholeheartedly to accept our award. The CSPOA Constitutional Sheriff of the Year is none other than Milwaukee County Sheriff David A. Clark Jr. And he was the one that came out publicly against his own party, against his own chief of police, who works right there in the same area, and said, the citizens of this county had better be armed. We cannot be there in time to protect them. They need to exercise their Second Amendment rights. And he got on Pierce Morgan and said this and lots of other programs, and he is a Democrat. And we don't care what party people are. We care if they adhere to the Constitution, keep their oath of office. And so we already have over 450 sheriffs now on our website. Mm-hmm. That the person that sent you that question, go to our website at cspoa.org. CSPOA stands for Constitutional Sheriffs Peace Officers Association. Go to the website, check it out for yourself, and you'll see on the left-hand side there's a few titles of places to go, and then link to the one that says the list of sheriffs and chiefs, and you'll see the names, and you can look and see if the sheriff in your area is on there. If he's not, you need to call him. 1, you need to ask him why he's not on there. 2, you need to ask him to get to our convention. For all public officials, it's free. All you have to do is get there. And we still have some scholarships that will help people with travel expenses as well. So we've already done about 10 of those so far this year. We have Sheriff Sam Page from North Carolina speaking. We have Sheriff John Rutherford from Florida speaking about how he got in the face of TSA and has told TSA there's a few things you're not going to do in my county. And if I have to put a deputy on you to watch and make sure you're not doing it, then I will. That's a sheriff. And we have sheriffs we have Sheriff Brad Rogers in Indiana who told the FDA to leave an Amish farmer alone who wasn't pasteurizing his milk. Well, it's his religious belief, and it's his prerogative anyway. I don't care if it's an atheist farmer. They can do whatever they want to with their product, and people can choose to use those products if they want to.
Exactly.
I mean, that's what being free is, isn't it? Make your own choice. And so
it's that simple, isn't it? It's that simple. It's what freedom is, and without it, we have nothing. Without it, we're sheep.
Right, and we are. We totally are. But if everybody listening to the program needs to get involved in the solution, because that's what we have. We know we've been doing all these radio shows, and we've been doing your show and Joyce Riley and Alex Jones and all this. Are we so addicted now to listening and getting the shock of the latest crisis and the latest corruption and the latest horrible thing that Barack Obama's doing? I don't need to hear one more story about the corruption of Barack Obama. I know what Barack Obama is.
Yeah, you're right, Sheriff. You're right, and I want
to
cut you off.
We need to focus on the solution now, guys. We need to do something. So make sure you call your sheriff, call your favorite deputy, get them registered at cspoa.org. Get them registered, get them involved, get them to the convention, because if they come to that convention, I guarantee you, and the public's welcome too, but you have to pay, because that's why we can be free for the other guys.
All right, Sheriff, hold tight. I don't want to cut you off, but I have to. We will cover all this again on the backside of the break, cspoa.org. We'll be back with Sheriff Mack, final segment, in a few minutes. Hang tight. Welcome back to Wide Awake News Radio. Charlie McGrath, joined by the Sheriff Mack as we continue the conversation. Final segment on this 7th day of May, Tuesday. CSPOA.org, May 31st, St. Charles, Missouri. If you can be there, go. If you can do. If you can get there, if you can get your sheriff there, let's do this. And listen, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you agree with everything I say, Sheriff Mack has to say, or any of the guests we have on here. You need to understand your freedom, and in a lot of cases, more importantly, your future, your child's future, your grandchild's future, your freedom is in peril. I can't stress that enough. I couldn't believe that more. I couldn't utter a more truer statement. When our president comes out, and I know we're not, picking on anybody, but when he comes out and talks about don't listen to the people that said government's turning tyrannical, understand that's exactly what's happening. CSPOA.org. Get over there, see if you can support them. More importantly, if you can get to this event May 31st in St. Charles, then do so, please. Sheriff, question came into the chat, and I posted it to you during the break, and I'm going to ask it again just for the benefit of the listeners. What would be the event that would change the course of what's happening? People want solutions. How can we change this? How can we change this?
Well, first of all, I would say before we try to say it's up to somebody else, it's up to you and me. We have to get involved in this. Our government is based on 3 words: we the people. We're the ones supposed to be vigilant. We haven't been. We're the ones supposed to keep our politicians in check. We haven't. So we've got to start cleaning house in our own homes. Then we need to get involved with our local sheriffs, county attorneys, county commissioners, and city councilmen, and start forming what Madison referred to as erecting the barriers against the national authority. It's actually the job. It's the 10th Amendment. It's state sovereignty. It's local autonomy. And Jefferson's reminder that the sheriff is indeed the top executive of the county. He actually said that. And so we need the top executive and the people's protector involved in this process with us. Don't point to your sheriff and say, he should be protecting me from this. You need to get behind him, and you need to get involved with him. And if he won't keep his oath, and if he won't be a constitutional sheriff, then you need to get him replaced. But you've got to vet him. I can't vet all 3,080 sheriffs in the country. We're trying, and we've done some. But they have to hear from you. They don't work for me. The only sheriff that works for me is Sheriff Joe Arpaio. I live in his county now. And you better believe I've been having good conversations with him. But it's time that we realize that this is our country and we need to take it back. And the way we take America back is one sheriff at a time, county by county and state by state. If the state won't go along, then you can live in a free county. And we have sheriffs that are already doing this. Those sheriffs need to step it up as well. Again, this is such a historical time. We have over 450 sheriffs who have signed on at our website and proclaimed publicly that we will not allow the citizens of our county to be disarmed, or the federal government coming in and confiscating guns will not happen in our counties. This is so historical that it's almost astonishing, and I believe that it does answer the question posed to you by your listener.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And I'm sitting here monitoring chat, And Sheriff, you alluded in the first break or before the last break, that there is a lot of people that are just enjoying the shock and awe of the moment, right? And it's infotainment, and that happens everywhere. That happens in establishment.
Sure.
That happens in independent.
And we need to know what's going on. There's no question about that. But
Sure.
we now need to focus on the solution.
Yeah.
And we need your donations. We only get the money to do these conventions from people who listen to your show. We get donations all the time that way, and you can donate at cspoa.org, or you can send a piece of silver or gold or check or cash or whatever else you have of value. One lady handed me in person. She wanted to do a donation, and she didn't have anything else to give. And so she gave the widow's mite. And I get teary-eyed saying this. This old lady, about 85 years old, pure white hair, handed me and put it in my hand and made me keep it, her wedding ring. And that's how much she believes in this being a solution. It is. My dear friends, you look around and you tell me if you see another solution that's more immediate and more effective than us having the sheriffs stand with us and for us against tyranny, which is what we have created and what we are doing at the CSPOA. Has there ever been a time in history where 450 sheriffs have stood unitedly on the issue or any issue relative to the Constitution and Bill of Rights? We have that now. What if we take that to the next level where these same sheriffs now say, oh, and while we're at it, you're not going to come in here and confiscate property, IRS, without due process. You're not going to destroy families and businesses like you've been doing. You're not going to act like the Gestapo of America in my county. And like I said, we have a sheriff that's ready to do battle on that. I'm not going to say which one or his name at this point, but he has told me that he's loaded for bear for the IRS.
Is it any new expansion of the IRS? I mean, is it the 16,000 new agents they've hired, or is he expecting more onerous tactics by this government as far as stealing?
No, it really doesn't have anything to do with that. Although you know darn well, it's obvious that Barack Obama is coming after us, not not illegal immigrants.
Right.
He's coming after law-abiding Americans. He wants to strengthen the IRS instead of diminish it.
Yes.
But I have to say, when was the last time any Republican diminished the role and the corruption and tyranny of the IRS?
They haven't, and they haven't.
Have not.
Yeah,
not
absolutely
Reagan,
haven't.
not anybody.
No. Reagan made as bigger government than we've ever had in the history of this planet. And I'm taking some grief in the chat right now, and I don't mean to deflect because I really appreciate your time on the interview, but people are saying, I'm giving a pass to Obama or I make excuses for him. No, I do not. But don't get caught in this lost cause argument that it's a blue argument or it's a Democrat thing or a Republican thing. It's the whole system, period. Sheriff Mack, would you agree with that?
Yes, of course. And there is not one issue. The easiest one to pick on, obviously, is the Second Amendment because it's so obviously being violated by our government officials.
Sure.
But it's all of them. I mean, right now, there's an Amish farmer in Wisconsin by the name of Vernon Hirschberger who is facing jail time because
for milk.
For raw milk. He has better products than the stores, and it doesn't matter. You don't need to analyze any of it.
Right.
It's his property, it's his farm, they're his cows, it's his milk, and he's putting it there for people to use if they want to.
That's exactly that's exactly right. And you said it. You said it, and I said it in the first hour. People talking about this march that's supposed to happen on D.C. I hope it does, July 4th, and I hope it's very successful. Open carry. But you don't have to analyze it. It's no different than walking down the street with a fishing pole or with a pocket knife or just whistling a tune. We got to get away from this mentality that we need to analyze and rationalize and justify our existence. And the way we do that is realize that we are a nation of laws, and it's a very simple process. It's a very simple concept, a constitution that if we return to, then we won't put such emphasis on ridiculous, meaningless, trivial, divisive issues.
Right. And that's exactly right. And my case even bears that out. My case actually mentioned the statistical analysis is unnecessary to show the benefits of the burden or benefit of any law. We don't have to, because you simply look at it and say that is unconstitutional, whether it provides a benefit or not. You can't do it. It's against the law, you dummy. You know? Don't you know? Can't you read the law? Shall not be infringed. Congress shall make no law. The right of the people to be secure in their places of public roads shall not be
not be infringed. Right. Absolutely. Yeah.
You have the right. The Fourth Amendment guarantees me the right to be secure in my papers, houses, and effects. You can't touch me. That means you have to leave me alone unless I do something wrong, just as you said at the beginning.
Absolutely. And I got a question here. 2 minutes left, and I want to get this to you. And I'm remiss for not remembering this because I want to get your take on it. I think I know what it's going to be. Radio Crafter in chat said, please ask Sheriff Mack what his feelings are. And, this is just your commentary on it, on the recent lockdown of one of our largest cities in this nation, the martial law that was implemented in Boston during this whole Boston massacre. I know it's a little off topic, but I am curious.
No, it isn't either. It's right back to the freedom issues. Yeah. What really bothered me about this is how arrogant the police department and some of the other federal agents were, but all of them that were going door to door were drawing down on citizens without any probable cause, without any threat to them. They just went crazy, and that's a real sign of poor leadership. When emergencies happen, it does not suspend the Constitution. It does not suspend what we're supposed to be doing as cops. It does not suspend professionalism and the proper role of law enforcement. And so anybody that thinks, well, people got killed and people got hurt, so we're just going to go after people and let God sort them out later. That attitude of cops and doing that sort of thing, just absolutely reprehensible, shameless. And what they did in Boston as part of that has not gotten nearly the publicity it needs. But again, let me say this. It is exactly what we're trying to prevent at the CSPOA.
CSPOA, the next event, May 31st, St. Charles, Missouri. Sheriff Mack, you can reach, you can find more information at sheriffmack.com, or you can go to cspoa.org. And and I told you during the break that we'll post this interview up on the website and get as much support as you can, guys. It is a time that you're going to have to make choices. You're going to either have to sit back and enjoy the infotainment, shock and awe, and watch it all happen around you, or you're going to have to do something. And I don't care if it's knocking on your neighbor's door and saying, what the hell is going on in my country? Action is required. Things are heating up. There's no question about it. CSPOA.org. Sheriff Mack, thank you very much for your years of service and your years of fight. I said to you during the break, and I mean it, you went above and beyond for many, many decades. Thank you very much for your service.
Well, thanks, and I'll talk to you soon. Hope to see you in St. Charles, and everybody, same to you.
Well, I said, I might have the opportunity to be there, so I will message you via email.
Tell Karen to get there. Tell her to get moving and get people there and get her family there, and everybody get there. You're going to love it.
I most assuredly am going to try. Sheriff Mack, thank you very much.
All right.
Again, CSPOA.org. Visit it. Check it out. Support him if you can. Guys, enjoy Jeff Prince because he is coming up next. We will see you tomorrow night at the same time. Have a good evening. Peace.